smell an ill omen in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit from the WoW podcast Blue Please over on cynicalbrit.com. This is the second part of the Worgen starting area as promised, and you can expect more videos in the coming weeks. This is directly after the end of what I showed you. We've moved up just a little bit. We're out of the stocks, and we have our first quest, which is to collect some materials which will allow the fellow who helped us out in the first place with that potion to continue stopping us from, well, murdering everybody. Generally a pretty good idea. This zone makes reasonable use of phasing, and it's also got some fairly big events going on. I must attest to enjoying this immensely, and for me, that's a big deal because I really don't like leveling. Suddenly a cutscene. No voiceover, I assume there's going to be something, but as you can see there in the distance, that appears to be Forsaken battleships anchored off the coast of Gilneas. That's not a good thing at all. The messenger is dead, and slaughtered by the looks of it by an undead scout. So just to make matters worse, not only have the people of Gilneas been attacked by the Worgen, they are now under siege by the Forsaken. Someone is having a really bad day. Right, let's go hand this one in and see what's going on. Obviously, that is a very bad sign indeed. No sign of Forsaken ground forces yet, but expect them soon enough. You don't simply park a couple of battleships off the coast of a Alliance territory if you want to say hi and have a cup of tea. Go hand this in. Oh. Not you again. Seriously, where's Mary Poppins keeping her umbrella these days? And suddenly we are invaded, as you can hear the sounds of battle out there. We actually leveled up as well, getting Raptor Strike. Which is not all that useful, but there you go. Especially with a weapon like this. I'm sure somebody's going to leave a comment. Raptor Strike's awesome, what are you talking about? Prince Greymane fending off the invasion there. We have a bunch of very posh lads. Nice rapiers and top hats and waistcoats. Yes, indeed. We can't possibly fail with such dapper soldiers. Now, we're getting two quests from this guy. The first of which is to slay soldiers. Pretty standard run-of-the-mill kill. And the other one is slightly more entertaining. I'll show you that in just a moment. Getting used to the hunter is a pain in the ass. You know, I've never played a hunter. I don't play alts, so this would be my first time ever playing a class like this. It's very odd. Usually I just hit number 2 and things die. Okay, now we've got to pick up these barrels of blasting powder and use them to blow up the abominations that are otherwise too tough to kill. Shouldn't be all that much of a problem. There's one of them. Unfortunately, it's resetting, so as we find out here, the throw doesn't work. It's kind of irritating because it wastes one of the barrels. You have to pick up 4 separate barrels. They're scattered around the place. As you can see in this area, you've got a number of other players now. The bait is starting to get a bit populated, so got to fight for mobs. No big surprises there. What I would recommend to everyone is get yourself a group. Save the trouble. Okay, sped us up here just a little bit so that we can get over to the next barrel fairly quickly. This is a relatively large area, and my sprint has, well, I think 2-minute cooldown or something like that. Don't want to throw it on that, that's tapped, so let's go find another one. Now you'll like this. Toss the keg. Now that is very odd. This, for some reason, happens every time. When you throw a barrel, suddenly the camera pans back. You'll notice in the combat log there a mention of the camera. I assume that this use of dynamic camera will have some real meaning in the actual game, but right now it appears to be bugged. I like it though, more cinematics. And we already saw that just a little bit of cinematic and hopefully some narration was added to that area of the quest earlier on. You saw that. Things like that do help the immersion factor. They're the kind of things that you see in single-player RPGs. More of that, please. Now, I've had some comments regarding the focus regeneration for the steady shot. And yeah, as far as I can tell, it does take quite a while, but I'm told, and again, I'm not much of a hunter or any at all, that there is a combo of shots that will actually regenerate focus, but we just don't have that combo yet. I think something called Cobra Shot. And there's also a new aspect called Aspect of the Fox, which will regenerate your focus faster. So right now, as the hunter, we've kind of got this alpha strike going on here. We can open up with a steady shot, rapidly followed up by an arcane shot and then an auto shot, and hope that kills. It worked in the Worgen starting area in Gilneas, but here, not so much. Things are a little tougher. Once again there with that camera. Either that or someone at Blizzard just really, really likes looking at that guy's biceps. Grab a couple more barrels of powder, and then we'll go hunt ourselves some more. Speed things up for the rest of this section so that we can get onto some new stuff. I very much enjoy the dynamic feel of this zone. There are various scripted events that work very well. And you've got the battleships pulling up there after we discover a dead Forsaken scout who has killed one of our men. And then suddenly, in comes the invasion. It's very good stuff, and there is more of this. All I can honestly hope is that the rest of the old world content has this kind of phasing, or at least has some kind of meaningful progression, because I always felt a little bit put out by the way that you do a quest and nothing obvious in the world would ever change. It felt static, it felt artificial. And this kind of thing goes a long way to bridging the gap between the dynamic nature of the storytelling of a single-player RPG and what was previously the static nature of, say, WoW questing.
Get gabbing or get going.
I wish you'd stop gabbing, love. Okay, now the command post for this entire defensive operation is in a storm cellar. So I'm going to go find that, and then we'll pick up some other quests. This storm cellar is very significant to a huge event that is going to happen in this video. While we're on there, we're missing an ability or two, so let's sort that out. There we go. Everything does seem to cost 10 copper at the minute. I don't know if that's the finalized price. Although I do recall having to struggle sometimes. This is back in early vanilla when I was still trying to work out which character I wanted to play, in actually getting the money I needed to train my skills. You know, 1 silver was a big deal back then. Okay, welcome to the Allen Farmstead. The storm cellar of these farmhouses is where we're going, and it looks like we're getting shelled. That's never good. Horde catapults over there, as well as incoming fire from the battleships. My keen sense of navigation has found us the command center inside this storm cellar right here. This place is full of dapper hats. That can only be a good sign. Now, he's suspicious of us, which I don't really blame him, honestly. I mean, I am a Worgen, and Worgen just slaughtered the vast majority of their people. They're probably a little displeased with me being here. A few quests to pick up here. Generic kill, as well as a find the children, and this is the most interesting. We have to make our way onto the battleships and kill the captains to disrupt their attacks. Now, those battleships are pretty high up, so the way we're going to be getting there is via catapult. Oh, wow, even the Scarecrow has a fantastic hat. Why don't I get one? Apparently I get one later, but I'm impatient. Okay, so finding these kids is a little bit of a pain in the ass. You read the quest text, it said that they are in and around the farmhouse, but it's not specific as to where. I easily find the first one, but the others... you get a clue when you speak to the first girl, and she'll tell you where another one is, but the third one is the worst because there is no mention of him. He's actually there. I didn't spot him as I went in, but you just saw a little bit of movement there. He's just wandering around in the grounds. Promise I'm not going to eat you. Go and run off. Thank you. One of the good Worgen. Yes. All the better to eat you with. If you can't get a Red Riding Hood outfit for your Worgen in this game, then I think Blizzard's art asset team have their priorities all wrong. If I can get one for Warwick in League of Legends, I want one here. Simple as that. Oh, look, it's a pest. These guys are slightly tougher, but they don't really do anything all that great. Faithful dog will deal with it. I'm also told that the pet bar disappearing was kind of deliberate, and it shouldn't have really been there in the first place. Apparently, your pet only counts as a companion until you reach level 10, at which point you get direct control. I'm not sure if this is true, but I'm just going to put it out there as a possibility. It's something that a number of people seem to have mentioned. Now, where is that kid? I was told that she's in one of the sheds. There's a couple of sheds around here. They're very small. I don't think you'll be able to fit much in them. Let's accelerate this, because watching me look for stuff, pretty dull. You'd think that Worgen, having a heightened sense of smell, would be able to locate these delicious children. I just walk past them again. I'm such an idiot. Look, seriously, quit it. Hiding in the corn? Sneaky, sneaky bastards. Right. Off you go. There we go. I've just warped it forward. I don't think you want to watch another 5 minutes of me running around like a lunatic. There we go. So that's that one done. Make note of the locations for when you do this starting zone. Right. Now things start to get a little bit interesting. Horde Catapults. Forsaken, specifically. Now, the way we have to do this is we have to get rid of one of the catapult masters who's actually piloting those things. The problem is we've got a lot of people around, so finding one might be tricky. As much as I wish you could use one that has already fired somebody out, you can see there that it actually fades out, so there's no point. There's one. Let's try that. No! Somebody else has got that one already. My concern is that if they don't end up phasing elements of this so that you have more catapults per person, then this on launch day is going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Respawn times on things are fairly quick, but not quick enough. Bear in mind this is with a reduced number of testers. I can't imagine what this is going to be like on Cataclysm launch day. It's going to be a mess. Right. We have a catapult. It has only one function, to throw us onto the ship. Here we go. Now, I can't imagine. Whoever thought of this idea in the Storm Cellar must have been thinking, well, you know, there's Worgen, they're pretty expendable. What can we do with them? Well, we could send them in ferociously to go and slaughter the undead, but you know what would be really hilarious? We put a werewolf in a catapult. It's like some glorified Gilneas office prank. Right, he's dead. Thankfully, he will... There you go. Not dead anymore. Fantastic. With your fancy hat. Why has everyone else got a fancy hat? Even the bloody undead have fancy hats. Horrendous. And please, clean your boat. Right, we've got to get onto another one. The only way to do that is, of course, to find another catapult. So, we'll take a flying leap off here. We don't have line of sight on that, unfortunately. It's a pain in the ass to get up there, so... You can kill any of the undead, really, to count towards the Forsaken kill quest. It's not really too big a deal. With the exception of these guys, because they're down one shot. To be fair, it makes perfect sense when you think about it. There's a lot of very subtle design decisions being made here. If these guys counter towards the quota, then all you'd have is a bunch of people killing them in order to get the quota, as opposed to use the actual catapults themselves. Be kind of inconvenient for people. There we go. Almost missed it. Practice for Flame Leviathan, I feel. As if anyone's going to be doing that anymore. Alright. And he's dead. Not for long. These guys are tenacious. Get another hat. Ugh, it taunts me. There we go. Thank you very much. You know what? I'll just let Dog handle it. I want to get on down. This place hasn't seen any groove in a while. I bring some necessary funk to the mix. Well, I'd like to say that, but that is a really terrible dance. I'm sorry. Woot indeed. I could definitely use getting rid of this axe, but seems that I can't use the two-handed mace, and not the hunters have ever been able to, so never mind. I'm sure I'll get an opportunity to replace it soon enough. Now, the rest of this segment is generic kill quest, so I've sped it up for your benefit. It takes a little bit too long. Although what you will see in passing is an echo of a quest we're going to be doing fairly soon. It's quite neat. If you're not a fan of undead, you'll really like it. And here in the background, the chibi undead. You're attacked by a pack of rabid gerbils, apparently. Alright, there we go. Level 7, always nice. Now, there's a Dark Ranger there. Being attacked by a pack of wild dogs, apparently. We'll get to do that ourselves quite shortly. Out of the way. There are not enough spawns here, Blizzard. I need to get around to actually leaving some feedback. If one of you ends up doing this area and gets a little feedback thing, just tell them to increase the number of spawns. That'd be great. Also make it a kind of epic battlefield if we had more than 5 undead running around. There we go. Hyperspeed Worgen can decelerate.
Need help?
Let's get the hand in done. All of these items that they're giving you right here are the same as the ones that you got in the troll starting area. They're the same kind of colors. I assume they're placeholders. I hope they're placeholders because really, leather jumpsuit, not in this season. And indeed there is a faction for Gilneas. There you go. We are now honored with them. Now this is a bit of fun. This is what you saw earlier, and I'll show you how it works. And you get a very nice crossbow from this, so quite helpful. Already replaced the axe with a dagger that is higher DPS. Not by much, admittedly, but hey, this is level 7. We're not expecting fat epics. Let's put our new gear on. Like I say, I do hope Blizzard does something about the gear there. It's not the best looking, really, is it? A little bit too generic for my liking. I probably shouldn't complain. The starting zone gear in vanilla was horrendous and continues to be pretty bad. Right, now, the way to bring that down is to throw dogs at her. You are now covered in wolves. Congratulations. Not so smart now with your beast slaying, are you? Didn't think so. Thank you very much. That's great. We should get to murder more undead with packs of dogs. Nice and easy. That's just a fun little quest. There's no challenge to be had there, but it's kind of neat. It's what I like to call a Magic Wand quest, as in you use item to do something that you would otherwise not be able to do. Named that after... You remember that quest in Howling Fjord where you had a wand that was altered to have a 100-yard range so you could bring down the drakes? That Magic Wand. Any quest that's like that where you use an item in such a manner, I call it a Magic Wand quest. Now, pay attention. Even if you don't care about the lore, you will care about what's about to happen. Thank you for my crossbow. Fantastic. Oh dear. Suddenly, everyone's just disappeared. That means we've ended a phase. And someone else has as well. That sounds like crashing water in the background. The ground shakes. Some kind of cataclysmic event. What the bloody hell happened here? Wow. It's all gone. Well, let's get rid of the battleships and drown everybody else, apparently. They really don't pull any punches with this phasing, do they? This makes Wrath look tame by comparison. Yes, indeed, folks. You see the flooding. Now, while that might have been helpful for us, it also drowned half of the town guard, so we need to get in there and save as many as possible. You gotta do this one at a time. You gotta grab the guys out of the water and drag them there. So, let's head on in with our friend here. One of the less terribly named Worgen, I feel. There's been some pretty bad ones. There's one of them. You can't grab more than one at once as much as I wish that you could. I do want to show you those beam effects through the surface of the water there. I'll do that in a minute. They're not perfect, but they're pretty impressive nonetheless, and you don't see that kind of thing in WoW. Now, sadly, it doesn't seem that our speed gives us all that much of an edge in the water. Those of you wondering about the abilities of the Worgen, that sprint is the only active. There are several passives, including a resistance to curse, I believe. I think curses last a little less longer, and there's also a crit bonus. I'm fairly sure of that. Some of the stuff you can go check it out on various websites, no doubt. Now, some of these are bugged and don't seem to quite pick up, but we managed to get one there, so we'll get out. It doesn't really matter where you dump them, as long as you get them to the shore and hang around for a little bit, they will be thrown off rather unceremoniously, I have to say. If we had drowning men, I'm sure what we wouldn't be doing is doing that. I mean, come on. You just threw him 30 feet. It's not going to get better that way. Oh well, we're all British here, so stiff upper lip. Oh, where the hell are the rest of them? See the glowing effect there. Look at that. You don't see that in WoW. Apparently now you do. It's good stuff. Okay, I'll accelerate the rest of this because, hey, you know what's going on here. Now, we are coming to the end of this part of it. There is a large quest chain that kicks off directly after this, and I'm going to save that for a future video simply because of how long it's going to take to do. It's good stuff, though. I mean, my overall assessment of this zone thus far has had me extremely impressed. Looking forward to trying out the Lost Isles and seeing whether or not the goblin stuff continues to be all gimmicks, or whether it's got some genuinely cool events going on. So far, what Gilneas lacks in flash, it makes up for in real substance and some good storytelling. Those phased events are really good. I like the fact that they put a cinematic in there as well. And while some of the quests are generic run and gun as well as pickups, they're done in a way that makes sense in terms of the story, and it is immersive, so it's very cool. Right, oh, it's you again, isn't it?
Folk. Ain't you a chipper-looking one?
Please stop, please. My name's been Totalbiscuit.
Will be reborn from the blood of our enemies.
And you have been watching the second part of Gilneas, Worgen's starting zone from levels 5 to 7. I'll return to this in a future video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.